Greetings, salutations, and all those good things. I'm Celestial Saturn, and I'm back with this Touchstarved Demo. Honestly, I just like it. I want to see what goes on. Interesting concept, very interesting characters. Should I say anything else? Let's go. Continue on. Yes, from here. Right, we just showed our curse to this guy. I didn't plan on it. Leander asks, are you staying in Lowtown? I pause. Room and board was something I hadn't yet considered. I don't know. Let's get you properly settled then. The Wet Wick is noticeably quieter. Without their leader, most of the bloodhounds have dispersed, or in a few cases, fallen asleep beside their drink. Let me turn this down a little bit. Alright, that should be a little bit better. Got any rooms left, or did my lot grab them all to sleep it off? The bartender, who I now realize doubles as the innkeeper, slides a key onto the counter. You know, I always keep the corner room open for your escapades. What? Leander's laugh sounds slightly strained. Yeah, I hope that bed is clean. Can't just have like at least one clean bed? Maybe, please? And I always appreciate it, but you're mistaken. This is just for my friend Saturn. Sure. Stay as long as you like. You two have fun. Escapades, huh? Leander clears his throat, then holds the key out to me. But I hesitate. My coin purse barely holds enough for a day's worth of meals, let alone a room. How much do I owe you? Nothing. Bloodhound rates. My treat since you shared your secret. Food, drink, and a warm bed. Anything you need. Carefully, I take the key from him. It's small, but weighs heavy in my palm. I never expected to have a warm bed in Erida, let alone free meals. Thank you. Go explore, Saturn. You'll find many roads in Erida, each leading to different answers, but if you need a reprieve from what haunts you, come find me. Just be careful. I nod, taking one last look at the gleaming bronze key before tucking it into my pocket of my cloak for safekeeping. Leander gives me one last friendly wave before I depart. The air clings, sodden and heavy. Without the morning crowd, the sunless streets look barren and bleak. Even the peddlers are gone. Only a pair of crows remain, nibbling over stale crusts in the gutter. I feel a ridiculous pain of envy. At least they got a reason to fight. I never felt so lost. Karas and Leander both made it clear that the Cenobium can't be trusted. But I've come so far, endured so much. I need to see the Cenobium for myself, if only to satisfy my curiosity. I should have asked someone at the bar for directions before leaving. I'm about to turn back when a shadow passes over me. A cloud, I think, until a puff of hot breath tickles the back of my neck. I need to run and not look back. The shadow runs down the street in rivulets, formless, dark spreads like ink into blotted shapes. Claws stretch. A muzzle splits open to reveal a long, jagged teeth. A low, a growl rumbles so low and deep, I feel it. I want to run. I want to scream. But I feel trapped, as though the slightest movement or a single breath will snap the jaws around me shut. No, I won't let it end like this. If I'm going to die, I want to see what got me first. I steel myself, then turn. The shadow vanishes as quickly as it came. I'm left standing in the middle of the street alone, except for a figure reclining in the shade of a nearby stoop. Jesus, you're a man whore. And the music confirms that you are. A monster, that much is clear from a glance. One that could nearly be mistaken for human if it weren't for the tufted ears and tail curled around his ankle. Or the dust pink eyes with the pupils that sharpen like needles when they fall on me. Our eyes meet and the monster uncrosses his long legs. His hair gleams a shade of red that reminds me unsettlingly of blood, where it curls around the collar, around his collared throat. Jumpy, aren't you? His tone is so light and carefree that I glance over my shoulder to make sure he's speaking to me. When I look back, the stranger props his chin on his knuckles and regards me with an inscrutable little smile. Didn't you see that shadow just now? It was massive, moved like a beast. Even as I speak, I'm aware of how ridiculous I must sound, but the stranger's smile doesn't falter. The only beasts I've seen here are the Wick's drooling regulars, though this did catch my eye. Bitch, you stole my key! Get that back! With a flourish of his hand, my end key appears dangling from his finger. It turns on his chain, glittering when it catches the light. My hands fly to my cloak's pockets, and sure enough, can't find them flat. He crooks his finger, beckoning. I've already taken 2 steps forward. Some stifled instinct stops me. Something feels wrong. I'm still on the edge, thrumming with so much adrenaline that the stranger's shadow flickers at the edges of my vision. I always attract the worst kind of attention, but I can't get rattled now. Who said that's my key? His smile wide enough to reveal pointed canines. I saw you drop it. You should really be more careful. City like this, somebody might take advantage. A bald-faced lie, and without a hint of irony. I can't figure out how he picked my pockets under my nose. But I'm certain he took my key, and I need it back. I approach the man careful, to keep an arm's length away. He doesn't look dangerous, but the most deadly ones never do. The stranger's chain softly clinks with the tilt of his head. His ears flick. Keeping your distance? I'd be stupid to trust you. You think I stole your dinky little key from all the way over here? He gives an exaggerated sigh. I'm good with my hands, but not that good. Do I really look like a common thief? I could say a lot of things about what you look like, but you two would not like it. He's got me there. The sheer fabric of his sleeves alone would be too expensive for most street thieves. Hell, his shoes look like they cost more than I spent traveling here. And then there's the shop behind him. No matter the city. Parted pink curtains. only ever means one thing. So over here? Or over here? I'm not looking to buy, and I doubt I could afford your services anyway. I knew it! He was a whore! He was a whore! He was a whore! I am way too proud of realizing that before it was revealed. I really am, but that was great. Lucky for you, I don't charge. Still no. The man turns the tip of his tongue over a fang, and for the first time since I stepped into its shadow, I felt something other than dread. My face grows hot. That's not what I meant. I'm flattered, really. Or sex my trade. I might make an exception for you. How about half off for a handy? I have many questions. Or you could just hand over my key. Ask nicely and I might even let you... What? No. No. Never. Just throw it here. So some spindly little street urchin can snatch it and run? He raises my key and tilts his head so he can watch it dangle back and forth. I suppose I could just claim your room for myself. Not that I'd be caught dead slumming in the wick with the rest of those slack-jawed imbeciles. You're obviously not from here, so tell me, traveler, what misfortune brought you to this wretched place? His voice practically drips with derision. I'm not telling you anything. What could have possibly drawn you to this dreary little pig pen, I wonder? He listlessly watches the arc of my key swinging around his finger. The weather's shit. The food's dreck. There's entirely too many monsters for the human to feel safe. Unless... Dagger-sharp eyes flicker towards me. They gleam with amusement. Unless you're just trying to consort with monsters. Not gonna lie, I would if it was a different game and you weren't such an ass. By now, my embarrassment has worn away, leaving simmering impatience in its place. If this is a shakedown, this is the most frustrating one I've heard of. Alright, I would turn them down, but I gotta see where this path takes me. So, how'd you know that I spent all my money, starved, and nearly died in a swamp just so I could crawl into bed with some first thirsty monster I saw? That earns me a burst of hearty laughter. He gazes at me under his dark lashes. Aren't you funny? Could you be any more obvious? I've been told subtlety is not my strength. So, your place or mine? Screw it. I'd invite you if I had my key. A languid gaze glides from me to the key in his hand and back. Come, take my hand and we'll go together. The more he flirts, the more convinced I am that this is some kind of trap. No matter how innocent monsters look, they always have tricks up their sleeves. And something tells me that this one's more dangerous than he lets on, even if he has a lovely laugh. I don't know what you want, or why you're messing with me. But I'm not coming any closer until I know you aren't going to attack or bite. I won't bite unless you beg me. Alright, Duolingo. No matter what I say, sigh. No matter what I say, he finds a way to twist my words into an innuendo. Even when I'm silent, he goes on as though we're having a conversation, not a standoff. Do you like dancing? There's a traveling troupe performing in Hightown tonight. Their ludus is utterly exquisite. Truly a performance to die for. There's life in this dreadful place if you know where to look. You sound like you know the city well. The man's gaze flickers from me to the key dangling around his finger. Naturally, the stump was a little more than a miserable little smear when I first arrived. Hightown, Lowtown, I know Erida like the back of my hand. What about the cenobium? Do you know where it is? His smile vanishes. Surely you've seen it. That absurdly large tower looming over the rest. It's a little hard to miss. You must mean the spire I noticed when I first caught sight of Erida. The cenobium's overrated. Forget about it. I can show you things those stuffy boars in their limptic tower couldn't even dream of. Okay. I've already got plans. Oh, you have some pressing matters at the cenobium? Lunch dates with the librarians? Tea time with the most esteemed abbess? That's my business. What does it matter to you? I square my shoulders and the amusement bleeds out of him. You're a loss. The stranger, finally bored of this tedious game, extends his hand towards me. The key rests in his palm, neatly dividing skin and leather. He makes no other move. I reach for the key, but as soon as my fingers graze the smooth brass, his hand springs shut around my elbow. I cannot talk, and you're an ass. Hey! He yanks me down, and I stagger, my soul slipping on the steps. For a sick moment, I fear my bandages will unravel under his touch, but he's careful not to disturb them, even as his fingers dig into my arm. I knew I smelled blood. You reek of death and road. And that fucking doctor. His voice, once silken, lowers to a smoky growl. The shadows around him seethe and boil as he pulls me closer. And something else, he murmurs against my throat, nose grazing my jaw. Let go. I try to twist away, but he doesn't budge. His breath trails down my neck, sending a thrill of dread through me. But just when I fear he'll bite, he takes a deep whiff instead. Honestly, the bite wouldn't have been as scary as the smelling. His wide, flat eyes gleam with naked hunger as he gazes up at me. No, I had it the right time. Gazes. Not quite human, not quite monster. Seems we're both. Veer. Stranger's ears flatten as he releases me with a short breath. I yank my arm back, massaging where his breath left grooves in the bandages. The stranger twists around to watch a woman duck out from the curtains behind him. Her cenobium uniform is nearly identical to the one my mentor kept tucked away in her closet. I leave you for all of what, 10 minutes, and you're making trouble again? Will you quit harassing the tourists? The stranger, Veer, I take it, rolls his eyes and flashes the cleric a withering smile. So suspicious. Why, can't you see this is a friend of mine? A natural liar. He grins at me and his tail swishes minutely. The woman purses her lips at me, clearly unconvinced. I open my mouth to correct him, but Veer cuts in. I was graciously offering my dear friend some free advice. Though his voice remains light and cheerful, his expression darkens. Danger's drawn to you like a moth to a flame. It will always find you given time. The woman clucks her tongue as though she's heard this recital before. Word of advice: don't take any free advice from lazy foxes lounging in the streets. This crook would sell water to a drowning man for the sheer enjoyment of it. She shrugs off a wilting look from Veer. Oh, please. Any friend of yours knows it's true. Now hold still. Veer rises gracefully at her approach. He pushes his hair back so it drapes over the shoulder, explaining the long line of his neck. And suddenly it dawns on me that the jingling I heard earlier wasn't coming from the harness attached to his collar, but a leash. A heavy iron chain around a hitching post and padlock to the back of his collar. Veer posed deliberately to hide his leash from me. The woman produces a keyring from her pocket. She ruffles through a dozen identical keys before selecting one and slotting it into the lock. Come on, unless your friend's tagging along on our merry little soulless hunt. The hunting for solace inside the city? Words momentarily fail me. The woman regards me with a polite, if tight smile before marching down the stairs. Fear lingers. He stretches his arm over his head with a yawn, and I try not to stare at the way his stomach flattens when he arches his back. I'm a thirsty ass bitch. That's all I'm seeing here. Your little secret's safe with me. Try not to get yourself killed, Fear hops off the stoop and bounds after the woman. His tail sways merrily, as though he hadn't just lied and threatened me. Did you try that thing I mentioned? The Leventian knot? That the one where you take 3 fingers and... Actually, don't tell me. Knowing you, it's disgusting. Fear's airy laugh echoes down the street. It's only after he and the cleric have vanished from sight that I realize I'm still missing something. Wait. Reflexively, I shove my hands into my pockets and find it. The room key. I pull it out of my pocket and race into the light to be sure. A nagging feeling distracts from my relief. I don't know what Veer's game was or what he wanted from me. All I know is that the Snobium saw fit to leash him. A fate I could share, if that's what his vague warning meant. I let my eyes drift skyward, past the lanterns gently swaying in the breeze to the Snobium faintly visible through the haze. Just one glimpse is all I need, then I can put this all behind me. This time, the key goes into my coin purse for safekeeping. It's easy enough to follow the sluggish river that splits Arida in two. A colossal bridge arches over the dark water below. I cross it as quickly as I can, climbing ever uphill towards the distant tower. Oh, that is pretty. Hours later, legs aching, sweat beading on my forehead, I finally find what I was searching for. The cenobium of the luminous void. It stands at the highest point of Arida, surrounded by cold white walls. Well-dressed people stroll down from the walkways, paying no attention to the massive tower in their midst. I'm the only one standing before the gates. I crane my neck up and up until the top of the cenobium tower disappears into the clouds overhead. The gates are so heavily enchanted that even standing near them sets my teeth on edge. Alchemically reinforced locks, invisible sigils of alarm, and who knows what else. Knocking seems like a terrible idea, but I don't see any other way of making my presence known. And this is where we're going to leave it. Next one, we'll go into the Cenobium and see why everybody is upset about this place. Will we learn some new secrets? Will we meet another character on the way in? Will we ever find out why everybody hates the fucking doctor? Uh, we'll find out on the next video of this demo. So like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if any of you guys have played this demo and what do you like about it so far. Until then, bye.